Well, hi, Matt. I found another teaching moment and I thought I'd take advantage of it. You said something really good in one of your posts, and I wanted to key in on that. Um, you write, yes, although when I began this ministry I made the mistake of attributing this to ego rather than insecurity. There is certainly a relationship between these two traits. Both traits are indicative of a style of ministry that is less focused on Jesus and more focused on the self. I think that's key. And I know I see that quite often as I deal with people at various phases of their ministry, from people who are just beginning and they're in the pipeline, they're excited about learning and beginning the ministry to which they've called, all the way to the other end of the spectrum, to those who have been in ministry or battle weary and ready to quit, and everywhere in between. There are those that are in the sunset years of their ministry, and they are just as vibrant as they were when they were young people. And every one of those folks that I've talked with, it has been because they have found their self-efficacy and their worth outside of what they do. And I think that's a key point. I think it's easy to chase ministry and lose Jesus. I think we need to chase Jesus and allow the ministry to take care of itself. I find the greatest ministry takes place in the relationships that we build with each other, and those relationships are impossible without that foremost focus on Jesus, because people can see through us. They can see when we're running light. They can see when we're going through the motions. They can also see when there is a genuine relationship with Jesus, and it makes all the difference in the world in ministry. And I think that's part of the reason why I'm so glad we're focusing on the call to ministry, because it helps us to tease out these very types of feelings, that we want to make sure that our heart remains in the right place, and that we're doing ministry for Jesus' sake and not for anything else. So, and I loved what you said here. In the case of ego, one wants to feel good. In the case of insecurity, one becomes risk averse. Both traits can be destructive. We must all balance our sense of ego and our sense of fragility. And I think you're spot on in your thinking there, that these traits can become destructive, because if we're afraid to step out and take a risk because we're afraid of making a mistake or how people will perceive us, then that shuts off a number of great avenues for ministry, and often shuts off the leading of the Holy Spirit, because it's like, oh no, Lord, I'm not going there. Not a chance. Because it's too easy for our ego to become bruised when something doesn't go the way we want it to, or it's easy to fall into the trap of, oh, you know what, we had 2 people in service this morning, what did I do wrong? Well, the reality may be that everybody was on vacation, and it just happened to land on that particular Sunday when this family was out of town, so was this one, and you ended up with 4 people, including you and your wife. I think it's important that we let go of our ego and our way of doing things, so we can embrace what it is that God wants to do. And until we do that, I don't think we realize the full effect of what God's ministry through us can be. So, yeah, some great things here, and I'm so glad you said them the way that you said them. Very succinct, very poignant, and very true. So I'll quit my rambling and post this as a response to your posting here, but I think you've done a great job, and I think you're right on the right track. So long for now.